Hi everyone, it's Nate and welcome to my finale for my Pan That palette. This was a Pantastic Ladies collab and the theme this year was Size Matters. So this is the second year I've done the Pan the palette with the Pantastic Ladies. This year I actually did something that was probably a little bit naughty of me. I actually changed the palette that I chose very early on because the one I originally chose I just wasn't feeling at the beginning of the year, and I thought, you know what, maybe I would switch it halfway through, but I ended up sticking with a different palette. It was funny because it sort of came down to the two palettes when I was working out which one I wanted to pan, and I sort of picked the other one, and then I went, actually, I think I prefer to do this one. So anyway, theme was Size Matters, so big or bulky. It's not necessarily the biggest or the bulkiest, but it is kind of chunky, and there is a little bit of excess packaging. So yeah, that's what I went with. This I reckon I bought in 2010, early 2010. So it is about 12 years old, coming up to about 12 and a half years old now at this point. And it is a MP set from Napoleon Purtis. It's the romance set palette. Anyway, so it's been a while since I've done an update for this guy. I think the last time I did it I had two pans, and I hit two pans reasonably early on. I'm thinking like April, May-ish, and then it took me a while to get any further. Then I did hit one pan a couple of months after that, and I hit another one probably maybe in the last 2 months. I actually was planning to film this last week, last Thursday, because I thought, there's only one more day of work left, probably won't be wearing makeup, possibly won't make any more progress on that one day that I am likely to wear makeup. As it turned out, I actually hit 2 more pans on that last day. So this is an 18 pan palette, and I now have 6 pans. 2 of them are the most teeniest, tiniest little pinpricks. But I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got a tiny little pan in that, which looks like it might just be showing up. And then I've got the tiniest little pinpricks in that guy and that guy. And I know the light's doing funny things, but I think you can actually see them. You can see the top purple one right there, and there we go, and you can see the little red one down there. So I actually hit those two the last day before Christmas breakup. I don't think I really went over the top to try and hit those pans in using them, but I did choose a look that was very bright. I was wearing a polka dot Christmas shirt that had sort of the blue and some red, so I used the blue, the red, and particularly this purple. I think I might have used a little bit of that, a couple of the others, but it was very predominantly the blue, the purple and the red. And yeah, on the last day I hit pan. Probably should have worn this today just to see if magically I could hit another pan or something, but I didn't. I went very low key today, so I didn't actually use any of the eye shades. But yeah, I'm reasonably pleased. I think 6 pans was probably about what I was expecting and hoping for. A couple of them were very last minute and probably a tiny bit smaller than I would have really loved. But yeah, I'm reasonably pleased. For me, that's pretty good to have used one palette that time. I have quite small eyes. I don't tend to burn through shadows like some people do. This one was really old, payoff wasn't great. Took a bit of work to get some of the colours to come out. But yeah, it's looking much more loved, certainly than it was at the beginning of the year. I'm actually reasonably close-ish on these two. There are dips in them. Don't know how well we're going to get that to come up. Yeah, so those two, I think, probably, I don't know, 5 or so uses. I think I'd probably get pan on both of those. Purple guy in the middle here has got quite a substantial dip too. The light ones have all got dips. There are small dips on these two. This one, this red one, is a really strange, very oily, almost hard pan, but not sort of deal at the moment. So that one's going to be hard to get anything much off of. And the black's actually, that's a similar kind of feel as this one, but actually seems to come out reasonably pigmented. So yeah, and I'm not a huge black eye shadow person. So all in all, I'm reasonably pleased with my progress. I mean, you can see there a couple of the dips, particularly on the purple and the blue up here. Anyway, yeah, so reasonably pleased, all things considered, on that one. This palette also does have some cheek shades, and I do also have reasonable dips on these. It's not really showing up all that well, but I thought that this one might be too dark for me, and that I'd sort of use this one during the winter and maybe add in a bit of this during the summer. But as it turns out, this one's actually really quite frosty and probably a little bit too in your face. So I've actually been mixing them together most of the time, and I actually don't mind this one on my skin. I'm a bit surprised at how much I quite like that one by itself, but more often than not I have been mixing the two together. I have also got a bit of a dip on this guy, and a little bit of a dip on this guy. So that one, I've actually almost been using it as a bronzer. I know it's not quite the right colour, but it just sort of gives me almost a little bit of a peachiness without being sunburnt. Just gives me a little bit of peachy colour. I did put the tiniest little bit on it today. I just go really, really light-handed. I actually got it on my cheeks and then just a tiniest little bit around my forehead today, just for a little bit of colour, a little bit of peachiness. And yeah, I quite like that as well. It also does have some lips colours in here, and oops, there goes the brush. And I've actually used this one a fair bit, and I've sort of got a bit of a pan showing there. I've got a bit of a pan showing on this guy. That one had a brush in it, so it looks, so there's a bit of a sort of a pan on the side. And then this one, I haven't used a whole lot, but it's certainly, all in all, a much more loved, used looking palette than it was at the beginning of the year. So yeah, reasonably happy with that. And yeah, we'll see what we can do next year. Yeah, so six pans hit of 18 shadows. Reasonably happy with that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.